not as a story, but as an experience for you. The story I just told you, well, for you, that began as a story. And so you experienced it as a story. So if you wanted to tell that, you would be able to basically start where I led you. You'd be able to start with an idea of it as a shaped story. You might shape it better, you might change things, but you have that to start with. But if that was your experience, like it was my experience, I didn't start there. Experience just starts, when we're born, perhaps, and then goes all the way until we die. There's no chapters in it, right? There's no markers. There's nothing that says this is the part that's the story. So when that rainy Tuesday happened, I didn't know it was the beginning of a story that I would tell. It was just another day, another difficult day of teaching difficult children. And so when later I decided to tell the story as an example of how I discovered the power of storytelling, then I had to decide what to include. I had to decide which part of that is the story. And I can tell you that over the years and in different situations, I've changed that. But that's the first problem you have with a personal story. You don't necessarily have with a story that you learn first as a story. The second problem, which I alluded to there, is that it doesn't have a preset end or a beginning. In other words, where does it start? Where does it stop? This third problem is, okay, this is my experience. Maybe I figure out which part of my experience to tell, but how do I make it meaningful to someone else? The story that I learned as a story, I've presumably learned as a meaningful story, and I have my own idea of what the meaning is, but I'm not starting from scratch how to make this meaningful. And we do that with our personal stories. And finally, like a historical story, and like a story from another culture, there's a great deal of context that I have to communicate as the storyteller to my listeners. So we need to know, that this is 1970 and it's not 1870, right? It's not 2017. That it happened a while ago. But we also have to understand the situation with the school, these children. There's not a normal school, and what kind of children are there, and what kind of behavior have we seen there? So in order to make sense of the story, there's a certain amount of the context that I know it because I lived through it, but you don't know until I find some way to communicate it to you.